Happy gay day to you.
I'm gonna burn my fingers off.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's so pretty, Anna.
Basically, I'm gay.
I'm gay.
I'm gay. It feels so good to say that.
What you just telling the whole world right now is that Pierre is
Gay.
Okay, so y'all heard that clearly. Y'all heard that clearly. Pierre is what?
Gay.
Hi, I'm Elle Mills, and I'm bisexual.
So what I'm trying to say here is I believe with certainty, almost certainty, sexuality is a weird thing and I don't quite know, but I believe with almost certainty that I am pansexual.
I'm gay. Which, depending on who you are, you might have already known, or it could have been a surprise. Surprise!
And this is something that I've come to the conclusion through therapy and also just being honest with myself. I am bisexual.
And then a word that you could use to like describe that, and a word that I've been using to describe that, kind of as of late, is the word trans. So I would say that I'm trans.
So I told her in the heat of the moment, well, I'm bi.
Hi. I'm bi. I'm Bobby, sorry.
I like boys. You what? You gay?
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Jamie and today I want to be talking to you not about The Sims or gaming at all. I'm actually slightly wondering why I made this channel, Jamie Games. What I want to be talking to you all about today is Pride Month. As you know, Pride Month just came to an end. It is now July. Month queers all over the world hear the most. Just kidding, that was a joke. And during this past month and past few weeks, a lot of really exciting things have happened for the LGBT, specifically here on E. I wanted to talk to you all about today. As we all know, earlier this month, Dan Howell released his coming out video. It's 40 minutes long, beautifully productive, had great lighting, and it's gonna make this video kind of look like a joke. But that's fine. As well as Eugene from the Try Guys and BuzzFeed also created this very beautiful performance piece with dance, music, and amazing acting. So, as well as just a few days ago, Phil, who you know from Dan and Phil, also officially came out on YouTube as well. Which is funny because a few weeks before that he had made a hint to it on Twitter. So, I'm going to be completely honest, I never really watched Dan and Phil growing up. However, I knew about them. They were YouTube gold, YouTube celebrities, really. Around the time I first began getting into YouTube, really like when they were probably also really big and just starting out. And I've noticed this really interesting trend, or this really great trend in my opinion, is the past few years, a lot of big YouTubers have taken it to YouTube to come out, tell the world who they are. And yeah, we can go back years and years ago. The first one that comes to my mind, which wasn't the first one, or I would say maybe not even the biggest one, was when Shane Dawson came out on YouTube. And, you know, now we have these ones, and then there was, you know, there's been so many YouTubers. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because of the way YouTube has evolved and the community of YouTube has really, I think, always reflected kind of the progress of how the world has been progressing and changing, specifically like the Western world, and what that means. So about 10, 15, or somewhere around then, when I first started using, there really wasn't much of an LGBT plus presence on YouTube. A lot of it was it was kind of, if you were alive 10, 15 years ago and were gay or any member of the LGBT plus community, you knew how it felt. It was pretty much don't ask, don't tell. It was this fake kind of tolerance, this we'll tolerate you in the bedroom, and that was fun to live during. And as of right now, I think there's a lot of people who still wish the world was that way and are still fighting to preserve that world, even though we really have evolved and gone to this really great world where people can create 40-minute videos and can create whole dance numbers about it. But like I said, so like 10 years ago on YouTube, if there was ever your community was usually very subtextual, was a joke, and a lot of it was coming from fans, like Dan and Film. They made videos together, so a lot of people speculated that they were queer and were in a couple and all these things, which I don't think they have officially come out and talked about their relationship, if it was romantic, if it still is. And I'm kind of on the area or the spot where I'm like, it would be cool if they want to tell us, but they don't have to, and they're not obligated to, and I'm not gonna force them, because it is their life. What I really wanted to talk about also is, as YouTube evolved and became a more accepting place not where if you were a member of the LGBT, it was a punchline, a joke in a video, in a skit. It was never talked about seriously. It was never talked about genuinely, really. And now that has changed completely, where you now search it and there's hundreds of coming out videos. There's hundreds of positive comments. Yeah, there's also the negative ones because it's the human race and humans inherently kind of suck. But there's a really important point that I'm trying to get to with all of this. And that's because of all these YouTubers the past years creating these coming out videos and sharing this part of their life with the world and the community at large, it has made it so that me and future YouTubers don't come out. Which is a really interesting concept because in some ways, as a member of the LGBT community, you're constantly coming out. There's never just one and done. There will always be people questioning. There will always be people who need to tell. There's always going to be. There are always going to be afraid because that is the default. However, we've lived in this community now. So many people have come out on YouTube. For now, when I first started my YouTube channel, yes, I only have like 14 followers right now, so it doesn't matter. I have such a small audience that like who on earth is questioning or wondering about me. But I've never felt the need to either steal it or talk about it. In some ways, because of everyone who's come before me and has thought to make this such an accepting space, that I came on YouTube making videos automatically hinting and referencing my sexuality. I don't hide it in any of my videos. Like, it's always like a throwaway line in so many of my videos. I go, oh, all my Sims are gay, or, oh, look at my gay Sims and my gay witches. Like, was there ever any question? But that's because I never had to hide it. I never had to pretend to be something I wasn't, because we're now at a point where the majority of the YouTube community is very accepting. And yes, we still have a long ways to go. There's people out there who still don't think I have a right to exist. Don't think I have a right to be public about this. I have family members who believe I should do the old George Bush don't ask, don't tell mentality. And you know what? Because of everyone before me here on YouTube, I can just make content and it's almost not really a fear, something I think about. And in some ways, that could be just kind of privilege of being also white and living in a fairly safe community and being such a small YouTuber that, like, it's not gonna really probably affect my career or any future that I want to do, because what's the chance these 14 people who watch my videos are gonna do anything? But it's something I've noticed also with other upcoming and even YouTubers become popular in the past few years, that they haven't needed to address it, that they can hint at it, that they can make off comments about their sexuality, just like straight people can. It's almost as if here on YouTube, we've almost reached a point where, like, straight and being gay are equal, in the sense that people aren't assuming and that people aren't treating it as this taboo and off and the other. You know, they're treating it as it's normal, it's life, it's nature. And that's what I really want to get at here, is I want to thank every YouTuber, all the ones I didn't name. There's so many of them. And to be honest, I don't know if I could even figure out who the first YouTuber. I don't know if I could figure out who the first YouTuber who came out was. I'm sure there's hundreds of articles claiming this one is that one is. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that they all exist and they all took that leap. They all took that chance. And by doing that, they've now created a community and a culture here on YouTube where I don't need to take time out of my life to address it. And that's super, super, like, I don't, it's just, it's a gift in some ways. Like I said, the culture at large here in the world is, I'm still gonna have to come out. It's gonna be a thing. Even though I've already done it hundreds of times, it's still gonna happen again. Someone's gonna ask. People are gonna accuse, and people are gonna assume, and I'm gonna have to set the record straight. And yeah, and maybe here on YouTube, people will question, and they will wonder, and they will. But we've also reached a point where it doesn't feel like an obligation. And it's because of everyone who's come before me. And it feels wrong not to end Pride Month by recognizing that. And it's not just Dan, Bill, it's all of them. I know I just mentioned 3 guys, but there's so many female YouTubers who've come, so many trans, so many non-binary YouTubers out there, so many YouTubers have made this the community that it is. And I just want to thank them all. And I hope you all are thankful, because even if you aren't part of the LGBT plus community, you should feel thankful that we're living in a world now where people don't have to hide to be themselves. Like, doesn't that sound sad? Like, even if you directly aren't affected, you should still be able to sympathize and maybe even empathize with your own life experiences, that we're now in this spot where any future YouTubers coming on no longer are going to feel the same pressures that the YouTubers who joined 10 years ago. And I think that's the very important part here is YouTubers like Dan, Phil, Shane Dawson, they all started on YouTube when the default was straight. so much of their careers were built on whether or not they were or were not straight. So in some ways, them coming out, even though we're living in a culture that is more accepting, will inherently affect their career more than it will affect mine. And that's because they have a lack or better way of putting it is brand integrity. If you want to know brand integrity, it's essentially that there's this idea that your brand cannot be tarnished, it cannot be changed, it has to stay pure. And if people have always assumed and viewed it one way, the moment it isn't that way is dangerous. A good example of this is Star Wars, for example. The Star Wars brand integrity is so important that it's actually in some ways a detriment to the storyline, but it's also part of the reason so many people didn't like The Last Jedi, and that's because they cared more about brand integrity than storytelling. And that's what essentially I guess I'm trying to get at here with all these past YouTubers out is they had a brand, and that brand was what they started with. And so many of them have also really proven that you can change your YouTube brand and sense the kind of YouTube video you make over the years, like a Shane Dawson. He was making those god awful skits for like hundreds of years, and they weren't funny. And now he does like really in-depth, well-produced conspiracy theory videos. And part of the reason so many of them didn't come out when they did is probably that idea of their brand integrity. And also, as someone who also had to come out at one point, it's scary. It's not a walk in the park. You don't just wake up one day and go, hello world. Exact opposite. It's terrifying. It's not easy. And even if it goes well, don't know if the next time you say it, it'll also go well. So coming out's not easy. But, like I said, because of everything that these YouTubers have done, I can now start my brand incorporating that part of my life and my identity. And I don't hide it. And that's what I'm thankful for.